Satellite images from this year show how China is expanding its military arsenal, from missile launch sites in remote deserts to aircraft carriers and submarines at sea.
China's buildup in recent years has been unprecedented.
While China's military spending is much lower than the US, its defense budget has more than doubled over the past decade. The buildup is aimed at meeting Beijing's goal of having a world-class military by 2049, the 100th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China.
China perceives the U.S. increasingly as a threat, and it wants to find ways of countering the United States, which operates as the premier power broker in Asia.
The Wall Street Journal analyzed recent satellite images from Maxar Technologies and Planet Labs and spoke to military experts who've studied them. And they reveal how Beijing is advancing its nuclear and naval arsenal to take on the US and its allies. China successfully tested its first nuclear weapon in the 1960s, and since then, it's developed a few hundred warheads, according to US government estimates. That's far less than the roughly 4,000 the US has. However, in the past year or so, Beijing's stance has shifted.
The Chinese leadership has decided that it needs a lot of nuclear weapons compared to what it had before.
Hans Christensen has been studying China's nuclear development for more than 4 decades and is currently with the Federation of American Scientists, a nonprofit policy think tank based in Washington, D.C. Satellite images show China's been adding what appears to be missile launch facilities in the remote deserts of central and western China. Zoom in and you see this.
They put up these big inflatable domes over the silo construction sites, both to protect against climate, but also to protect against, spy satellites and things like that.
When the basic construction is done, the inflatable domes are taken down, revealing silo fields. These contain huge canisters that are built into the ground and can be used to house nuclear-tipped missiles. On this elevated dirt mound, Christensen says there appears to be a silo hatch, which is a lid to a missile canister. And there's also a wide road that could be used to transport missiles on trucks. In the past 2 years or so, Christensen has observed more than 300 silos under construction across China, up from some 20 the country used to have before 2018. And he says the primary focus of these silos would be to expand China's nuclear arsenal.
China's development indicates that it has begun to think that it is more vulnerable to attack than it was before.
Military analysts say one of these sites is large enough for a new long-range Chinese missile, which can carry nuclear warheads and is capable of reaching the U.S. mainland. While the Chinese government hasn't officially confirmed or denied the construction of these missile silo fields, Beijing has pledged not to use nuclear weapons unless provoked.
中国始终坚定奉行自卫防御的核战略，一直将核力量规模维持在国家安全所需的最低水平。
China is also beefing up its navy. That's critical because about 1/3 of the country's borderline faces the ocean. At the southern edge of Hainan Island is a Chinese Navy base. This satellite image shows 2 of China's nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. Military analysts say it's the only vessel in the Chinese Navy dedicated to launching nuclear weapons.
It's China's first credible sea-based deterrent.
Matthew Funiole is a senior fellow with the Center for Strategic and International Studies. His team obtained these satellite images from Maxar Technologies in order to analyze China's military development. Funioli says China is relatively new to deploying such submarines, which are capable of launching ballistic missiles that can reach as far as 5,600 miles. And the Chinese military says each submarine could carry up to 12 of them.
In the region itself, the JL-2 could certainly strike India, could strike Russia, but if you're thinking about whether or not it could strike targets across the continental United States, not so much.
Another significant upgrade to China's naval fleet, a newer aircraft carrier. This satellite image shows a shipyard in Shanghai, and since at least 2018, China's been building what military analysts say will be the country's biggest aircraft carrier. The new vessel is bigger than its 2 predecessors, and this extra space means a longer and wider flight deck for larger and more powerful aircraft to take off.
What that gives you is that you can generate a lot more lift to try to get heavier airframes into the air. So more fuel, in a lot of cases, bigger aircraft, and do so at, up tempo, at faster speed.
While China has revealed little information about the aircraft carrier, Funioli says satellite images show that the vessel could be equipped with an advanced launch and recovery system, like the one used by US and French aircraft carriers. With this design, a catapult launches the aircraft. and during landing, arrestor wires catch it. The Pentagon expects the vessel to be operational by 2024, and when deployed, China will be able to project power farther away from the mainland.
It gives China a flexible tool to sail your aircraft carrier fleet through a strategic waterways way of sending a signal to other regional powers.
To prepare for potential conflicts with other military powers, satellite images also show China constructing what appears to be mock-up models in the shape of a U.S. vessel in the desert. Military analysts say the Chinese army is increasingly focused on creating realistic training environments. And it's not just against U.S. troops, but also other adversaries. For instance, this satellite image shows what appears to be a surveillance plane in the desert, and the aircraft looks like one that's operated by the Japanese Air Force. Military experts say the size and shape, particularly the radar mounted on the back of the plane, indicate that it's a Japanese aircraft. China's Ministry of National Defense didn't respond to a request for comment on questions about the country's military buildup. Security experts say China's expansion has been across a range of assets because it's about looking beyond the U.S. as its only challenge.
China has a very broad horizon when it comes to potential adversaries that is looking, almost 360 degrees around China.
Those adversaries include close U.S. allies like Japan and South Korea, which are also increasingly casting a wary eye on China. So as Beijing continues to invest in its arsenal and military technology, security experts say it's also pushing the U.S. to stay competitive to defend against any potential threats from its rival.